Shit.
Hey, don't tie up this video for 6 seconds.
It's just a word. It's just a word.
Thank
you. It means thank you. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for this, the
80th episode.
80th
episode
of Trump Doctor Who, wherein we discuss the 80th serial of the Doctor Who show.
Terror of the Zygons.
Terror of the Zygons.
Alright, it's October 18th, 2021.
Terror of the barnacle anuses. I mean, honestly. Oh, with the Grinch faces and...
Yeah, pretty soon, if you've noticed while you're watching that I put the 3 digits with a 0 in front of the episode number, pretty soon when we hit episode 100, I will have been vindicated on doing that this whole time. Yeah.
Is it recording?
Yeah. See, red light, recording.
Are we sold on the you on the left side and me on the right side?
Yeah.
Because I think this is my good side, and if I sat over here, they get this side.
No, this is fine.
If I sit over here, they get this side. That's not my good side.
I don't know. If they get any more of you, it'd be better. Alright. Anyway.
The same amount, same percentage, just different angle.
Number of episodes, 4. And it ran from August 30th, 1975 to September 20th, 1975.
I swear, the 3rd episode is as long as the first 2 combined. I don't know how they did that.
Companions, Harry, Sarah Jane Smith, the Brigadier, and Sergeant Benton. Yay! Brigadier, Sergeant Benton. Drink. Alright.
Where are we drinking today, Hatter?
Magma Flame and rum. I've been going back and forth, which is not a good choice. And you're drinking Twisted Tea, right?
I'm drinking Twisted Tea.
Alright. Our antagonists are the Zygons.
Zygon.
Very simple. All the antagonists do turn out to be Zygons. So.
Would you consider Scarson an antagonist? 50% of an antagonist?
Wait, Scarson, you're talking about the
Loch Ness Monster, who is half organic, half machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they machined an existing organism to be an antagonist, controlled by...
No, well, I mean, you could, but I would say it's all the Zygons. They're the ones controlling him and making him do the bad things.
I'm just going to write down Broton, the warlord of the Zygons.
Well, and just Zygons, yeah.
Zygons and Broton. He's the face of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a pretty one either.
No. He's got a face made for radio. No. Okay.
We're all set here.
So this is the first serial of...
No, it's the 80th, huh?
No. The first serial of...
What's that?
Season 13.
Do we have to vote on something?
Oh crap, we do have to vote. We need to vote on the first season of Tom Baker.
Yes. We're on Tom Baker's 3rd season now.
Second. This is
just started
season. Just started second season. Because we had 3, 5. So his first season was the 12th, and this is the 13th.
So watching a whole season of Tom Baker, how are you feeling about him so far? Is he okay? You like him?
What are you talking about? I should have said of you. I love Tom. He's my favorite doctor.
I like Tom.
He's my first doctor, my favorite doctor, the absolute best doctor. I grew up with him. He's fantastic.
I'm still conflicted. I still think Troughton might be my favorite. But Tom Baker's real good.
He is, and Troughton's my second favorite. But let's get you further into Tom Baker so you make a more informed decision. In fact, let's get you all the way through Tom Baker and you make a more informed decision.
He gets better as he goes on? Or?
Well...
Do you think his first season is the peak? Where's the peak of his, overall? Because you said we have some really good ones coming up.
We have some really good serials coming up. The Pyramids of Mars is fantastic.
Did you know they have Pyramids on Mars?
Brain of Morbius.
Sounds like a good one.
Okay.
I like the whole hive mind villains.
Well,
the great intelligence, the spy.
We go through Genesis of the Daleks is possibly his best serial, and it is last season. But he has a bunch of other really, really amazing serials, which we've already discussed on the show, including City of Death and several others that are coming up. Pyramids of Mars is one of them.
Cool. Cybermen on Mars?
No.
It's not a Cybermen serial?
No, it's
Who else lives?
How
many alien antagonists live on Mars? Are they keeping track?
Mostly the Ice Warriors, but this happens to be a prison on Mars.
Oh, Cybermen are from the Mirror Earth. Why am I thinking they're from Mars?
Okay.
That's my fault. I misspoke.
The Cybermen are from Mondas.
Mondas, which is the Earth, the mirror planet for Earth.
Originally, but
did they change the lore?
No. There are Mondas Cybermen with the socks.
Yes.
Okay, that's how Cybermen originally start out.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, Cybermen eventually, it's called parallel evolution,
so
eventually come up in nearly every society. So there are Cybermen from other planets too.
Multiple origin story. Okay.
Yeah, one is from an alternate universe in the modern stuff.
So
they actually develop on Earth in that alternate universe.
Is this an infinite universe theory?
It's Doctor Who.
Okay. They're all the theories.
Everything can be a theory. Okay.
Mixed up.
One interesting note is that... Okay, two interesting notes. One, look, I've got a charger for the backup battery.
Hey, no more running.
And it's fully charged. So this battery runs down, we switch the batteries, and that one can charge, and this one will be completely full. So we won't run out completely ever again, like that 3-hour Genesis Ludolix episode.
We never finished.
we were 4 minutes shy of 3 hours, and we were still talking about stuff, and we never finished.
We were talking about the Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah.
Prisoner of the Ghostland.
Yeah.
Do you always keep it plugged in and charging? Because that also might degrade the battery.
Okay. In order for the battery not to degrade, I'm keeping it plugged in.
It will stay charged. The charge won't degrade, but the ability to keep a charge might degrade. So it might not.
It's lithium ion. You tell me. I used to know this stuff 20 years ago.
I know some batteries, they're fine. They shut off charging when you keep them plugged in. Other batteries, if you continually keep them plugged in, then their ability to... I don't know anything about batteries.
Feel free to do some research on that one.
Okay. Lithium ion.
Second thing is that the new trailer for Series 13, Jodie Whittaker's final season, has premiered.
I just went through like 10 things of what trailer.
No.
I'm like Matrix, Dune, Wheel of Time. What is he gonna do?
Okay, you know I told you Whittaker's era sucks.
I've heard.
Yeah, this trailer
similar opinions.
Is really good.
Oh, good.
I don't know if the series is going to be really good, but the trailer is fantastic.
Did they switch writers for the last season?
The showrunner's the same. The doctor's the same. I think they kept more or less the same writers.
Okay.
But
so they're ending in a bang.
Well, hopefully, Capaldi's last season is his best season. Hopefully, Whittaker's last season will be his best season. No, Capaldi's not up there. Oh. This we've got all the way to 11. Capaldi is 12 and Whittaker's 13. I need some stickers for them or something, or an updated poster because this one's out of date. And we're gonna have 14 soon. So,
the doctor's face up there.
Yeah, well,
is that stuff in camera? Oh yeah, is that in camera?
Is that what?
Let me make sure I didn't cut off Baker's head.
No, it's in camera.
Okay.
Anyway, so everything we need is in camera.
No, I've adjusted it a few times.
Anyway, so it actually looks good. I hope the editor for that trailer, whoever cut it, is also an editor on the show. But it looks like it's called Flux. Flux.
Capacitor?
No, just Flux. And I think they're going to use it to explain away the timeless children crap.
Or to justify.
Well, no, just explain it away that this is what this master from this universe said, but it's not our master, and he's wrong about our universe or something like that.
I still feel like there's I haven't watched the season, but I feel like it's an interesting concept that the Time Lords are just beings, but they harvested the ability to regenerate from this timeless child. And also, I always ask myself the question, what happens to a Time Lord once they're caught in a state of continual death? Like, a Time Lord gets shot, they die, they regenerate. But what if the Time Lord falls in lava? They wouldn't be able to regenerate.
There are certain things from which a Time Lord cannot regenerate.
So what happens
Time
if
Lord
you just
can choose not to regenerate.
Consciously?
Yes.
Subconscious.
Conscious. This happened to the Master once.
Or conscious once?
Okay.
If he chose not to.
He chose not to. And the 12th Doctor is seriously deciding not to regenerate into the 13th until he's convinced.
Because he knew how bad the season was.
Well, probably. But he's convinced by the first Doctor of all people.
Hartnell. But not played by her.
Somebody else playing it.
The guy from... The janitor from Harry Potter.
Right, the janitor from Harry Potter. The guy in, Twice on Time. He's playing the first Doctor, convinces the 12th Doctor to regenerate into the 13th Doctor.
Do we know how old he is? Because he's looked old forever and he hasn't changed at all.
Who?
The actor that plays the second Hartnell.
The third Hartnell.
Third?
He's the third actor to play the first Doctor.
Who played in between?
Okay, we're not even counting the
movie.
The movies.
Yeah.
No.
That's not Hartnell. That's Doctor Who.
Right, that's Doctor Who, not the Doctor. Although in Flux, they might figure out a way to make that canon.
Alternate.
Right. Flux. So
it's like the Spider-Verse. You know the multiverse with the Marvel and this.
Haven't seen the movie, but I understand the concept. Yes.
That's what the next Spider-Man movie is about, is the multiverse.
Okay, so in the 5 Doctors, which was the 20th anniversary special, there's a different actor who plays the first Doctor. So you've got Hartnell playing the first Doctor all the way up to the 10th anniversary. Mm-hmm. Then this guy plays it for the 20th. Mm-hmm. And then in the Twice Enough in Time, the janitor plays it from Harry Potter.
They have a special every 5 years or every 10 years?
Every 10 years. Okay, so the show is off the air during the 30th and 40th. Mm-hmm. Okay? For the 30th, they did a special called Dimensions in Time, in which all the currently surviving Doctors play. And we will watch that when we get to it.
If Hartnell was in that, would it be
dementia? No, the first and second Doctors were dead, but Pertwee, Tom Baker, Davison, McCoy, Colin Baker and McCoy. There's 5 Doctors in it.
They have all these old Doctors.
Right.
Dementia and time. Continue.
Right. Okay, so that's for the 30th.
30th.
Nothing was done for the 40th because it was off the air and too many... and they just, for some reason, didn't do anything.
That's where the fans did the loose cannon for them.
Well, they did a whole bunch of that stuff, yeah.
Okay.
But the 50th, of course, they had a special, and then upcoming in 2 years, the 60th.
Do we have
what they do? Loose
cannon anniversary specials? Do they do something special?
I don't think so. Okay. Anyway, I think we got way off track already.
Would you stay on topic, Hatter? I'm trying to talk about what happened in the serial.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, since all the serials feed into one another back to back to back, we left Revenge of the Cybermen.
Right.
They were all beaming back up to the...
To the name of the Ark ship.
Nervous Space Station.
Nervous Space Station. Okay.
And then the Doctor and his companions didn't meet them at the Nervous Space Station because they instead went in the TARDIS.
Right, they hopped in the TARDIS and they left.
Because the Brigadier sent them the...
emergency signal.
Space-time telegram.
It's not the way the Doctor put it, but okay.
I wrote it down, I took it up. Space-time telegraph. I said telegram, it was a telegraph. He had the little ticker tape that was like overflowing out of the TARDIS door when he opened it.
No.
Okay. It's like I said, only an emergency. So he shows up in Scotland, HQ of all places.
Okay, wait. Episode 1. Alright. Okay. The Doctor, Sarah Jane, and Harry
Sullivan.
Right. Show up in Scotland. And the Doctor dressed for the occasion. He's got on a Scottish cap and a Scottish scarf. Mm-hmm. And Harry is wearing the Doctor's scarf. His normal scarf. Wait.
That's better.
Wait, hold on. No.
That's better.
Yes, Holden.
If you're Egyptian, would your name be Hetet?
I have no idea.
I did a typo when I was saying Hatter and the T's right next to the R.
I saw that.
And I'm like, that sounds Egyptian.
No, but you were asking earlier about Tom Baker. Was his best season the last season?
Yeah. Which season, or where does his season peak, just like overall?
The problem is he's got several really good seasons. He has a lot of really good stories. And they're all good except his last season. His last season is not good. So we have 6 good seasons, and then the 7th it kind of sucks.
Okay.
All right.
Are there any redeeming factors about the 7th season? Like a single good episode in there? Or are they all just kind of bad?
It's a general drop in quality, but is it the Warrior's Gate?
Got a gym in there
It's
somewhere.
pretty good. Yeah, the Warrior's Gate I think is the one that's pretty good. But mostly that season is a downhill, and it starts the downhill trend of the show. That Jonathan Nathan Turner, unfortunately, was the head of. You know, he was a showrunner for like a decade. But they told him at a certain point, if you don't keep doing the show, we're going to cancel it. And so he kept doing the show out of love for the show.
I imagine they were also cutting the budget.
Yep, cutting the number of episodes. I mean, we get to series or seasons where it's only 14 episodes.
And here we are in 2021, and they're doing like 2 episodes a year.
Well, the current series is only going to be 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But it looks like they took the money for 10 episodes, condensed it down to 6, and put a crap ton of special effects in it.
Are these like hour-long episodes?
Yes, in modern day.
Okay.
Most of Classic Who is half-hour episodes, 25 minutes. Mm-hmm. Except there's one season when they go from 28 to 14, and they went from half-hour to full-hour episodes. But the next season, it's 14 half-hour episodes again.
So in the modern Doctor Who, you don't have serials anymore, where it's like several episodes.
You do sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 or 3 hours to tell the story.
Right, the same way we've had before. I mean, we've had a 12-parter, which was 6 hours. We had a 10-parter, which was 5 hours. There's a bunch of 6 and 7-parters and 8-parters, which are 3, 3.5, or 4 hours.
What's the longest serial of the modern Doctor Who? Is it you get near like the 4 or 5 hour mark?
Okay, if you include all of Doctor Who, including the spin-offs, Children of Earth, 5-parter, fantastic for Torchwood.
And those are like the hour-long episodes?
Yeah, hour-long episodes, 5 of them, amazing. It's one of the best things ever put on television.
And that's how we're going to watch it too, right?
Yeah, we're going to watch it in one go.
Okay.
Alright.
I thought Torchwood got canceled. Did it just have the pilot serial?
No. Okay.
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Canine and Company.
That had the pilot.
And that was it.
And that was it.
And remember we watched that with Sarah Jane?
Sarah Jane Smith and Company.
No, Sarah Jane Adventures.
Adventures.
That ran 5 seasons.
5 seasons.
The last season was truncated due to Elizabeth Sladen's death.
They said Torchwood wasn't canon, right?
No, it is canon.
Scream of the Chocolate.
Scream of the Chocolate is the only thing they declared not canon.
Okay.
I
got all my...
But Torchwood has 4 seasons, 4 series, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 are good, not great. The third one is absolutely amazing. And the 4th one goes back to being good, not great, because it was an American co-production, like the TV movie.
You look like you're piloting the Scarrison.
Alright, yeah. Okay. Alright, anyways,
We're in Scotland.
We're in Scotland, okay? So the Doctor's walking around with basically a compass, trying to find his way out of these woods, out of the moor, with Sarah Jane and Harry behind him. They get to a road, and they hitch a ride with a driver. The driver
just so happens to be Duke Forgill.
Forgill.
He's 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah, Forgill.
Forgill.
It's Forgillo. But he's the local Duke and the head of the clan. What's the name of the clan?
MacDonald, I think. McReynolds?
Something like that, yeah.
MacReynolds?
McReynolds or something.
I ran out of room and kind of I can't read my handwriting.
So anyway, They ride into town. They immediately bump into the Brigadier because the Brigadier sent for them because it was an emergency. And you immediately get the sense that there's a problem between the Duke and what's that Canadian guy's name? It's a British guy playing Canadian, but his accent's pretty decent.
Mr. Huckle, the...
Huckle. Okay. Oh yeah.
He calls him Hickle.
Heckle and Hickle and Hackle or whatever. So the Duke does not like
Mr. Huckle.
Huckle, and it's because the Huckle runs all of these oil rigs off of the coast. Mm-hmm. And, actually, at the very beginning of the episode, one of the oil rigs gets attacked and destroyed and crumbled and everything. That's before we actually get the credits. Yeah.
Falls apart.
All the styrofoam falls apart. It's supposed to be concrete, but yeah.
I'll come back to my question. Keep going.
Okay, so the Duke doesn't like Huckle. Huckle doesn't like the Duke. And Huckle leaves. And
he does like his brother Suckle, though.
There's no brother.
I'm not going to say why he likes him, but it's his namesake.
Okay. So the Duke leaves. The Brigadier's trying to get the Doctor interested in what's going on. The Doctor's like, this is an emergency. He's like...
For emergencies only, and a couple of oil rigs collapse.
Is that an emergency?
And then the Brigadier has to play on his humanity to be, do you want more innocent people to die? He goes, fine, I'll help.
That in a sense of mystery.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so... Alright, so they go ahead and they figure out, well, let's go to where the stuff is floating in from the oil rigs. Right? So,
the debris.
The debris.
How did British people say it?
Debris. Okay, they drop more letters than we do.
No, they add a whole bunch that aren't there.
No, they drop more.
They add like syllables that...
Well, no, it's not Houston, it's Euston. They drop the H.
Houston. That's how my GPS pronounces it.
Houston?
Really? Yeah. You punch it in. You do like the Alexa voice turn by turn. She's like, turn right on Houston Street.
Okay, so my GPS, you're driving around Lubbock, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I worked for Uber. Uber.
Are you not Ubering anymore?
No, I don't want to wear the mask. I hate the mask.
You have to wear the mask.
Yeah.
What if you have one of those fancy limo dividers, except you just put like saran wrap?
I don't know. But anyway, so...
Is there a report for not wearing masks?
I don't know. I got rid of the Uber driver app, so they may have changed it. I don't know.
Never did the Uber job.
Every time I drive on Avenue S,
mm-hmm.
It would say Avenue South.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what they asked?
Avenue W was Avenue West. No, it's not. It was just the letter S. They would automatically assume it was Avenue South or Avenue West, you know?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so... the Doctor the Brigadier explains what's going on, and they decide that they're going to go out and try and figure out what's going on.
So they suit up, they get a Jeep, and then we have Harry Sullivan in his military medical officer's uniform again.
Later, I think.
I
think he shows up later towards the end. Okay. There's nothing more. But Harry's driving the Jeep, and he's heading over to the infirmary to see the bodies of the men who were crushed. Because a whole bunch of them got crushed by the falling rig. Most of them died, some survived. Children's show. But he's going to check that, and he sees a guy crawling up from the water. And he finds the guy, and because he's a medical doctor, he runs out to help him.
Now, earlier in the end where the Duke and Mr. Huckle were having their spat, he was saying, keep your oil riggers off my land. And...
Yeah.
Okay. So there's tension.
When he said, keep them on my land, and he says, they've been warned, he says, well, we're going to shoot them next time. Yeah.
So there's tension as Harry is driving up to this beach where this oil rig worker's been washed ashore. And we see this guy with this great big beard.
Caber.
And with a gun, and he's like kind of stalking Harry and following him.
Right. Apparently, this is his nickname because he did well in the Scottish Games. In the Scottish Games, you're not allowed to. The Scots were never allowed to use weapons by the English, so they, rather than use a sword or a gun, they figured out how to use just basic weapons like rocks and trees. And I believe the caber toss, if I remember correctly, is a giant tree that you toss as far as you can, end over end, right?
Yeah.
And they did the same thing for rocks and other things.
The shot put.
I think the shot put predates the Scottish, but yeah.
I'm guessing that's where they got it from.
But anyway, so the guy's name was never mentioned because it's Gaelic and people couldn't pronounce it. So they just call him Caber. Anyway, so he shows up and he has a rifle. And it looks like he's guarding the Duke's territory or whatever, right? And Harry's there cradling this survivor from the rig. And Caber. I keep trying to call him Kegel. Caber just gets him in his sights, shoots the guy Harry's holding after he gives a bit of information, and then shoots Harry. And Harry just goes right over.
He grabs his head as he falls down.
Yeah, turns out he's grazed. It
bounced off his thick head of his...
right here on the side. Turns out he was only grazed. So normally that'd be the end of the episode, but it wasn't.
Yeah. You'd think that's super aggressive too, and we find out later.
Yeah.
It's like, why did he shoot this guy that he's cradling this other guy?
Well, he shot the one guy first, and then he shoots Harry.
Yeah. But it makes sense later.
A bit. So, anyway, Harry gets taken to the
Sarah
hospital.
Jane Smith gets a phone call.
Yeah, Harry's shot.
Shot up.
And this is while the doctor's trying to figure some stuff out, and the Brigadier's
He's messing with this memory board doodad.
He's trying to figure out a way to... Because right before the monster hits an oil rig, the radio's jammed. So the doctor figures there's a jammer, and he's trying to figure out a thing to prevent it from being jammed.
And then Sarah Jane Smith asks, "What if that gets jammed?"
Yeah, and they never get an answer.
Which, I mean, he gave up on the project, so I guess.
Yeah, that probably was the answer. So Sarah Jane says, "Hey, Harry's in the hospital." They rush over. The Brigadier rushes over. The doctor is trying to get Harry to talk.
But he's been sedated.
Yeah, he's been sedated, and there's basically a nurse Ratchet watching over him. Apparently she's a nun.
Sister Brunhilde, yeah. Her sister Lamont.
Wait, do you not know the reference to Nurse Ratchet?
No.
Have you never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
I don't think I've ever. Is that where he keeps saying that aliens are going to pick him up?
I don't think so.
I think that's a... Is that a Bruce Willis movie? He's in this insane asylum. He's like, they're coming for me. Robin Williams, maybe.
No. You may be thinking of 12 Monkeys?
No.
No?
12 Monkeys is a time traveling one.
Right, but he is in the insane asylum at one point.
No, I'm thinking it was made after that, like 90s, late 90s, I think. Is Robin Williams or Bruce Willis or something? They're in the insane asylum, and he gets everyone in the not an insane asylum. I mean, like a mental hospital. He gets everyone on his side because he keeps preaching about how he's an alien and the alien mothership's coming, and he can take them with him.
No, that was what's his face from.
I don't remember the actor who was in it.
Oh, the guy from American something.
Oh, Christian Bale?
No, not American Psycho. What's the one with the guy where he was
American Pie?
No. No. What's the one where the guy is lusting after the underage girl, and he gets fired and goes to work at McDonald's?
I don't know that one.
put One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest on the movie list.
I think I left the. Oh, there it is.
Oh my gosh, what's the name of that movie?
And then, spoiler, at the end, he stages the big escape where he's supposed to be beamed up by the mothership, and then he goes missing. They're like, did the aliens really come for him? And he's hiding under like the table or something. You're like, oh, he's not an alien. And this hand. I don't think I watched the whole movie all the way through. I just remember those parts.
American Beauty.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, put that on the list too. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and American Beauty. American Beauty's a bit creepy, especially since the guy, man, I can't think of the actor's name.
C-O-O.
Cuckoo.
Cuckoos.
C-U-C-K-O-O.
C-U?
C-K-O-O.
C-K-O-O. Cuckoo.
Pronounced cuckoo.
Cuckold?
Not a cuckold. Although,
I wouldn't guess
the guy in American Beauty is cuckolded.
And then you said add that one too?
Yeah, that's a creepy movie, especially given the actor's later history. But it's a good movie. It won Best Picture that year.
What year is it?
American Beauty?
Yeah.
96, 97.
What happened in it? You said he falls in love with an underage girl?
Well, he's infatuated with her. Basically, there's an older guy, say about my age, 50s, and he gets fired, but he blackmails his boss into giving him more money.
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah,
Fight Club.
No. He goes home. He basically gets tired of the life he's living, which is kind of the higher class, but
white collar.
Yeah, we can make love, and his wife's like, no, not on this couch. This couch was done by this person.
Watch my hair.
Yeah. Anyway, so he gets tired of his life. He ends up getting fired from his job, laid off. His wife has an affair on him. He's kind of looking for meaning. And he ends up working at McDonald's or something, doing pot. And he fantasizes to try and give meaning about this teenage girl who's a friend of his daughter's. And in the end, he doesn't go through with it. She offers herself to him, and he turns her down.
Like in Waiting.
Well, he turns her down because finds out she's a virgin. And he's like, no, your first time should be with a clumsy boy. It shouldn't be with me,
I'm not sure that's the right reason to turn her down.
But the whole movie is kind of a semi-philosophical condemnation of society in that time period. It's not the world's best movie, but it did win Best Picture, I believe.
American Beauty?
Yeah.
I'm going to cross that one off the list. You just gave me the synopsis. I thought I knew which movie you're talking about. It's a similar kind of theme, I guess, but it's older and more creepy.
What's it called? American Psycho.
No idea. No. It's also about like inappropriate love. Have you seen The Professional?
Is Gerard Depardieu?
Yeah. And
really
Natalie Portman,
young Natalie Portman,
yeah.
Like a crazy young Natalie Portman.
Like 13.
Yeah.
12.
I've seen it, yeah. Another one with
creepy
inappropriate ages is Taxi Driver.
I don't know. Taxi Driver with what's her face? I'm thinking of a different taxi movie.
Okay. What happened in your Taxi Driver?
I have no idea.
Okay.
She has like the really fancy souped up taxi, which is really like a muscle sports car.
Different movie. Okay, this movie is Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro and an incredibly young what's her name? Jodie Foster.
Jodie
Incredibly young Jodie Foster.
Uh-huh.
14-year-old prostitute.
I think that's the one I was thinking of.
Okay. You talking to me? You talking to me?
Talking to me?
Yeah, there's nobody else here. You must be talking to me. Okay, that's Taxi Driver, yeah.
I think I'm still thinking of. I'm getting two different movies. I don't know how we got started on the concept, the topic of creepy movies.
Hey, scratch out American Beauty,
I
but do put Taxi Driver on the list. It is good.
Okay.
It's an absolute American classic.
Taxi Driver. I'm gonna put that other taxi movie on.
Another taxi movie.
I don't know. I don't even know what it's called. It's like a comedy action. I think.
This is a show about Doctor Who,
Never
I swear.
watched
Okay.
And taxis. Maybe. You ever play Taxi Driver? Or
No, I used to watch the TV show Taxi.
Cash Cab?
No. Back in the 70s, there was a TV show.
Mm-hmm. Was it also a game show?
No, it wasn't a game show.
Oh, Cash Cab's a game show and it's great.
No. It was a TV show with Danny DeVito.
Uh-huh. Danny DeVito.
Oh my gosh, what is his name?
we could be here all day.
We could. Okay. The old guy from
you and I just go back and forth. What was that actor?
Okay. Hold on. The old guy from Back to the Future.
Doc. Yeah.
Yeah, what was his name?
Doc Brown.
No. The actor.
I have no idea.
Okay. Him, Danny DeVito, several other people.
This one's yours?
No, that one's mine.
Okay.
And Kaufman. Kaufman was in it.
Doc, you look like you saw a ghost.
Okay.
I did. Gotta get you back to the future, Murray.
Alright, sometime I'll tell you about Kaufman. He was insane.
William Kaufman?
I don't know. Okay. The Man on the Moon.
Neil Armstrong.
No, it's a movie called The Man on the Moon. Alright, anyway, never mind. Okay, it's a show about Doctor Who. Where the hell
Harrison
were we?
Ford. Harry got shot in the head.
Harry gets shot. There's Nurse Ratched there. She's a
I still
nun.
don't get the
That's how we got on this.
I still don't get the reference.
Ratched there.
Which one was that? One Flew Over the
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Okay.
I'll let you do
The doctor tries to. Oh, okay, good. I might actually advance the plot here. All right. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna come back and you'll be like, okay, almost at the end of the episode.
All right. The doctor tries to get Harry to talk. Harry can't give him much. The doctor goes away. Says, "Okay, Brigadier, we need to find what's going on." He leaves Sarah Jane there. Sarah Jane tries to talk to Harry. The nurse is like, well, he's sedated. Don't mess with him. Sarah Jane kind of sticks around. The nurse leaves. Eventually, Harry actually starts talking. And so Sarah Jane goes to the phone. She goes to the phone to call the doctor and the Brigadier. Pardon me. In the meantime, Harry wakes up and he sees something and he's like, ah! And then it cuts to Sarah Jane telling the doctor and the Brigadier that Harry's getting better. Oh yeah. What washed up was the Brigadier and the doctor talking about this little tracking device. And it's this tracking device that floated in on the jetsam and the flotsam from the oil rig that crashed. And the doctor's like, okay, this is a device that is kind of a homing beacon. What is it a homing beacon for? And then Sarah Jane gets tapped on the shoulder while she's talking to the doctor, and she screams, and then we see our first vision of a Zygon, and the episode ends. The Zygon looks like a really weird Grinch kind of creature, except it has a bunch of suction cups on it going all the way down from here to the face and all the way around there. It's they kind of walk with their backs not forward or straight, but kind of a bit backwards, like they've got a lot of weight that way. very strange creatures. Anyway, the doctor and the brigadier head back to the infirmary because of Sarah Jane screaming on the phone. They start searching everywhere. The doctor finds the nurse, and the nurse tells him, well, don't know what happened. The window was open. He went out the window, and the doctor tells Sergeant Benton, yay, Sergeant Benton, to go look around the grounds, and the doctor's looking inside. And he asks the nurse, well, what happened to Sarah Jane? She says, I don't know. I went to look for Sarah Jane. She wasn't there. Well, after he went missing, I went to look for her. She wasn't there. And they're looking around the hospital, and the doctor's like, well, what's this place? She says, well, that's it's a bell for the divers. A compression bell where you add or remove the atmosphere levels so you can compress or decompress. And there's like, okay. So she leaves, he goes around the corner, and then he comes back to the compression bell, looks in, and he sees Sarah Jane. So he's like, okay, Sarah Jane, what happened? He manages to get in actually doesn't use a sonic screwdriver, he just turns the big wheel of his door, gets in, and she's like, it was hideous. He's like, what? And she's in a bit of a state of shock, the same way Harry was. And the doctor's like, okay, talk to me. And while they're in there, the nurse comes back, locks them in, and starts decompressing the air. And so the air's compressing out, and Sarah Jane can't breathe. The doctor, as we've noted before, has the amazing ability kind of to turn his body off so he doesn't need to do anything, go into an incredibly low metabolic state. But Sarah Jane is running out of air. She's gasping. The doctor hypnotizes her and convinces her not to breathe. And then he does a really weird gasp of air, a really weird moan, and then he kind of freezes. Eventually they get found by Sergeant Benton and another gent, and Sergeant Benton lets him out, and he wakes up the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, he's like, well, what did you do? He says, well, it was an old trick I learned from a Tibetan monk. And there's some speculation on Holden's part that it was the third doctor's Chaldi, or whatever the guy's name was. And that could be it, because he was basically a Tibetan monk at that point, but it might have been a different Tibetan monk. So anyway, then the doctor wakes up Sarah, and he has to do it just right. He has to put his hands and tilt her head in a certain way, because Benton wanted to wake her up, and the doctor's like, no, don't touch her. So then they go back out. In the meantime, there had been a gas that had poured into the inn where the brigadier and a couple of the other men were, and it knocked them out. Apparently it knocked out the entire village because they wanted to get the Loch Ness monster creature. I actually didn't write down the Skarsgård thing or whatever, to go through the village. So Sarah Jane and the doctor find the brigadier and the other guys knocked out, well, and Benton too. They wake them up, and the brigadier's like, well, what am I doing on this floor? And the doctor was like, oh, you were asleep. The brigadier's like, wow, that's not possible, I was on duty. You must be absurd. And so the doctor doesn't tell me it was gas. That happens later. But it's funny, the brigadier's reaction. Right. So the doctor surmises that there must be some reason that everybody was gassed. That's because they wanted to move something through town without being seen. And they start to figure out that they're being watched. Sarah Jane surmises this, actually. And recently in that inn, there was a 12-point buck. It's more like a 4-point buck. Head put on the wall in that inn by the Duke. He donated it to the inn. And turns out that buck, its eyes are what's seeing them and everything. Right about then, some lad on the moor is destroyed just completely by the creature, the Loch Ness Monster creature. And come on in.
Buongiorno, Principe. Principe? Principe. How do you say prince in Italian? Principesse is princess. The prince is principe.
Principe.
Or something.
Okay, there's actually a book in Italian called The Prince, written by Machiavelli.
Is principe right?
I don't know.
Oh,
I can't remember.
Me either.
But,
Buongiorno, sono affamato. L'uomo le sale.
no molesting?
L'uomo le sale. L'uomo means I'm a man, and le sale is a street. And
I'm a man, a street.
sono affamato is I'm starving.
Oh my goodness.
That's all the Italian I know.
My Italian is rusty. I took it in college, but it's incredibly rusty. I know a little more Spanish, French, and Chinese, oddly enough. Okay, so anyway.
Where are we at?
Okay.
Has Sir James Smith been attacked by the Drashig yet?
No, it's not a Drashig.
Skarazan?
Nessie. I think they use the same figure as the Drashig, but it's not a Drashig.
They turned its eyeball sideways so it blinks like a reptile.
It's weird.
Or like a frog. Wait, no, what blinks like this? Sideways?
I don't know.
Reptiles? No. Something blinks like that. Reptiles have like the transparent eyelid and then the non-transparent eyelid, so they blink like that. They have two eyelids.
Weird.
Frogs and snakes. Lizards.
Okay, so it's up to the point where the kid got killed on the moor.
Yeah, that part I was half asleep at.
Yeah, he fell asleep several times this evening.
Couple times.
Alright, so the kid got killed. Okay. In the meantime, they got the piece of concrete.
Why is it never in the nice time? What does it always mean? The meantime? What about it if we're in the nice time?
Not mean as in mean. Mean as in the current time.
Oh, well, why didn't they just say that?
You know, total and mean. When you look at average and mean.
Nice and mean. You know.
No, average and mean. The meantime. During.
Regression to the mean.
Alright, so they had a big piece of the concrete, and there were bite marks in it. The doctor surmised with plaster of Paris that they were teeth.
Is that from France?
Hmm?
Where do you get plaster of Paris?
Well, they use it for...
In France? Is that where it comes from?
Originally, but they use it for...
Casts.
Casts and stuff, yeah.
And stuff.
And stuff.
Oh. Casting
like
stuff.
what the doctor used
casting. Casting and casts. Casting and casts.
This is 4 episodes.
Casting
It's going to be
stuff.
4 hours. All right. Anyway, so they find the kid.
Didn't we discuss how we're slower than watching it real time?
Yes, we have. In some cases, yes, it's absolutely true.
2, 4, 6, 8, about an hour and a half. If we're over an hour and a half, then we'll have been faster to just watch it yourself.
True. No, hour 40. Hour 40. All right. So they find the kid on the moor, and
more? How many kids?
No, the kid on the moor. They surmise that he was attacked by a big beast. Where's the second episode end?
The doctor being attacked by the Loch Ness Monster because he had the tracking thing in his pocket and it latched onto his hand. And he's...
Okay, so they surmise it's a big beast and this is the Loch Ness Monster because...
Big beastie.
Big beastie. So they go back to the headquarters and the doctor's like,
Going after it.
well,
It's a Jeep, right? Runs out of gas.
Land Rover. It's a Land Rover.
Driver's side is on the left
Left,
side.
because they probably get it from America. But anyway, so the thing gets activated, the little tracking device, and the doctor's like, and the brigadier's like, well, no, it's going to come here. And the doctor's like, no, I'm going to run away with it. You figure out where the signal's coming from. I'm taking off. And Sarah Jane's like, don't do it. You don't know how fast it is. He says, well, it doesn't know how fast I am. So he jumps in the Land Rover. He takes off. And he's driving around. But then the Land Rover dies. I don't know if it ran out of gas or had a technical problem.
I think it was sabotage.
Sabotage?
By Nurse Ratched or
Maybe.
the Duke.
Alright, so the doctor runs off and he's running and running and running and running and running, and the thing's catching up to him, and it looks like, what did you call him?
The Drashig?
Yeah, the Drashig. But it's not, but I think they may have used the same model.
Because it blinks sideways.
I know. Anyway, so finally it catches up to the doctor after a good bit of run, and it's about to kill the doctor, and the episode ends. Alright, episode 3. Okay. Oh my gosh, we skipped Harry.
Episode 2 and 3 end exactly the same. So,
we
meanwhile...
skipped the duplicate of Harry.
Meanwhile,
back at the ranch, Harry was kidnapped out of the hospital. This would have been a 6-parter in the old days. Alright, Harry was kidnapped out of the hospital, and he's taken down into the Zygons ship, which apparently is under Loch Ness. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He really can't because it's beyond his comprehension. But he asks a bunch of questions.
Slarson. The ship's called something. It's similar to the Skarazan, is what they call the Loch Ness Monster. And the ship was called a Slarson or this.
Yeah. So Harry's down the ship, and he gets some answers, and it turns out the Zygons are these weird shape-changing aliens that can, thanks to our body prints, look like us, much like the chameleons back in the second Doctor's era.
You think they'll ever be able to let Zygons be Zygons?
No.
That's too bad. Zygons can't be Zygons. They have to be other. You get it? Because they can't just be themselves. They have to imitate other people. Okay. So the Zygons can imprison people, take their body print, and look like them. And when Harry's being put in that thing, Lamont, Nurse Ratchet's there. Sister Lamont.
Yeah, she's there, and the Cable, what's his name? Not Kegel.
Oh, okay, Caber.
He's there, and
he might have kinkles. I don't know.
Caber, and the Duke's there, and we see him, and Harry's put in there, and so a duplicate of Harry is sent up top. It's a Zygon that basically looks like Harry. So that Zygon goes in and
Madlar,
and steals the tracking device.
Just walks in.
He walks in, he takes it, and
Harry, where have you been? He's like,
I don't know.
She's like,
I escaped.
She's like, what happened to you? He's like, not important. Escape from where?
Yeah, he takes the tracking device, he runs off.
He throws Sarah Jane Smith aside. So then she knows something's wrong, so she starts chasing him.
Right.
Picks up a whole bunch of unit.
Right, gets Sergeant Bent and a couple guys.
Shoplifter, stop that man! And they're all. It's a really cool scene. They're all jogging.
Not shoplifter. I don't know where they filmed this, but it's a really cool medieval-esque English town. So eventually they split up. The soldiers go one way, Sarah Jane goes the other.
Yeah, they lose them. So they're searching for him.
Yeah, she finds him, and there's a great shot of his face.
Very light on half shadow.
Yeah, great shot. Love that. Don't know who directed that or cinematography that, but it's fantastic. And he's poking at her or trying to hit her with a pitchfork. She finds him and...
What do you call a two-pronged pitchfork?
A A
pitchfork? Because you have the trident and a Biden, so I didn't know if it's a pitchfork.
Well, I think those are weapons.
Fork.
A pitchfork is just pitchfork.
Okay, that makes
Whether
sense.
it has 2 or 3 prongs.
Is there there are 4-pronged pitchforks?
Yeah.
You ever see a 5-prong?
That's a fork.
5-prong? No, forks have 4 prongs.
You're correct.
That'd be a wide fork.
It's a wide fork. Big guys.
When you want extra spaghetti.
Alright. So anyway, the not hairy Harry, the Zygon
He's
Harry.
a smooth Harry.
No, the Zygon Harry.
Waxed Harry.
Who went up there and has that device. Eventually, he's trying to hit Sarah Jane. He misses. She eventually ducks.
She's very agile.
Right.
You could probably
She's
try to
tiny.
stab her and she'd fit between the prongs.
Yeah, she's pretty tiny.
What's the word you use? Wayfish.
Wayfish, yeah. And so he charges her and he falls off the top level of the barn and impales himself.
Is that a tilling machine or it's I've seen it before. It's a long log with 2 wheels and just spikes sticking out of the log.
I think
It's something for, like,
it's to
tearing
till
up
the
roots,
ground so you can put the seeds in.
So he lands on those spikes.
He lands on it, and the Zygons are like, "Oh no, he doesn't have any signal. We've got to get rid of him, destroy him before they find him," and his body dissipates.
It's an organic version of dematerializing. I forget what they call it.
Atomizing or
Yeah,
something.
they atomize him. So there's no evidence.
Mhm.
So
Sarah Jane,
you know, the unit guards are looking at Sarah Jane sideways when she's like, "He was right here."
Yeah.
But
Okay. So anyway, she gets the device back that he stole, and that's the device that Tom Baker's running along with during the end of the 2nd episode.
it looks like a bionicle barnacle.
Right, and this runs along at a good clip. In the 60s, it would have been 6 episodes. Period. Runs along at a good clip, because 80s it's more, or 70s is faster and more modern pace.
You know what we should popularize? When you're saying a statement, you end it with when you want to say that statement is without question, you say period. So and so period. What if you're doing like a follow-up statement? We should popularize saying comma. Because no one says comma. We always say, "There's no way, period." But we never say, "Hey, but comma."
I don't know.
It's less intuitive. It's hard to use. Semicolon.
So episode 3.
Please quotations.
Harry was put in one of those things because he was being mimicked by a Zygon. But when the Zygon dies, he's freed. So he comes out of his deal. He finds the Zygon control room because he's down the ship. And he sees the Doctor in trouble from this monster. He throws himself on the controls, just messing with them, trying to throw it off.
Have we talked about the set design yet? And the costume design of the Zygons? And
I talk about the costume design, not the set design, but
it's just...
You talk about the set design while I use the restroom. It's my turn.
Welcome to Holden Soapbox, where we're going to rant about the unsettling costume.
Have you seen Naked Lunch? It's a bit like that. No,
Looks
don't write Naked Lunch down. It's a good movie, but it's... I'm not going to make you watch Naked Lunch. There's no way. I'm not going to make you watch that movie.
Does it also have flesh walls and inside-out looking people that are Zygons?
Typewriters that are bugs. It's just...
I feel like that's less gross.
Feel free to write down Naked Lunch. Alright, you talk about that.
Now I'm going to talk about the set. Welcome to Holden's Soapbox, where I get to rant about how gross this cereal was. So the Zygons are horrible looking. They just look like someone who was just turned inside out. Galaxy Quest, where they teleport the pig and it turns inside out. It's exactly what they look like. They're covered in all these orifices. And how the costume was like these rubber suits. You have like the pants and then the shirt that fits over top of it. So like the top half of their stomach is just like this loose plastic that wiggles as they walk, and it looks like their belly buttons are just vibrating, and they're just lined with orifices and weird suction cups, and it's unsettling. And just looking at their eyes, even as like the plastic isn't quite flush with the flesh on their face, it's just kind of it's nasty. It doesn't look great. They're hard to look at, but then you look at the set and it's even worse. Now the set is, if you've ever watched Samurai Jack and where he's underwater and there's this biomechanical ships that they use, which are fish, and then you go inside the fish and it has like a transparent bubble, and then you step on like the different muscles and it starts to drive. That's the idea of this organic controlled spaceship kind of. But when Doctor Who does it, it's so gross because it's live action. It's not a cartoon like Samurai Jack. So you just have these fleshy walls that are all sinewy and like exposed muscle, and just it looks like everything just has the flesh peeled off of it. So their control panels are just these meat sticks that are kind of like flowers, but instead of the flower stem and the bloom, it's a meat stick with this weird suction cup orifice, and when they're controlling the Skarzan, the Loch Ness monster, it's not like a normal control panel where you hit buttons and you pull levers. They're kind of like mashing and massaging every control. It's indescribable and unsettling and gross. And I hated every minute we had an interior shot of their spaceship and every close-up shot of the Zygons. So I hear, this is the first time I've seen the Zygons. I hear they're a recurring character. I hope they get less unsettling in the future. Because they're hard to look at, man. I think... did Hatter say there's a Zygon companion at some point? I get all the alien names confused. I know there's the Paternoster gang, and there's a Zygon that's a part of the Paternoster gang, I think. Or maybe I'm thinking of some other generically named alien race. So, gosh, I don't know what else to talk about. I guess we could continue with the recap. Where did we leave off? Okay, so the end of episode 2. Oh my gosh.
Where are we?
I spent the whole time ranting about the set design and the costume design. We're at the beginning of episode 3, and I wrote down, what is Sergeant Ben's first name?
John.
And Melissa looked it up and it's John. I thought it was Ben.
Ben, yeah.
No, I thought it was just Ben. His last name was Ton. So when they refer to him as Sergeant Ben Ton.
No.
His first and last name.
That's horrible. Alright. Wow. Okay, so
the Doctor didn't get crushed because there's a slight delay with Harry messing with the control panel.
Correct.
So the Doctor gets to roll away as the foot comes down, but then they're no longer able to pursue the Doctor because Harry broke something while he was mashing orifices, and they lost visual. Orifices. How else do you describe it? I was just describing they're like flowers, but instead of a flower stem and a rosebud, you have a meat stick and a suction cup orifice. And what's
it's organic.
We were talking about the whole fantasy or the sci-fi theme of the organic spaceships and control. I've only ever seen it before in like an animated show, and animation is animation. So in live action, it's just so much more gross.
True. But it happens in the Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Seventh Dimension.
That's on the list.
Yes.
I might have abbreviated the title.
Buckaroo Banzai is the commonly referred to term.
And but I learned to love the bomb.
That's
Stop
Doctor
wearing-
Strangelove. But the organic thing is in that movie.
We're talking about how it's not a normal control panel where you mash buttons and pull levers. They're like massaging and squeezing. And...
It's a little creepy, but it is what it is.
So what happens in episode? It's like you have to stimulate the muscle to get it to respond to your.
Oh my gosh!
It's really disturbing. Remember that episode of Magic School Bus where they get real small and they go into Arnold and.
I barely am aware of Magic School Bus.
They
That
hit
was
something
long after
and
my
makes them
time.
sneeze or something. It's
Barely, no.
An animated example, way worse than live action. Very gross. What happens in episode 3, Heather? The doctor just made his escape. The Zygons
There's a classic movie where they go into the insides of an individual.
I try to do that. He gets me off topic.
No.
Exactly.
Okay, have you seen that movie? It's in black and white.
What is it called? It has Bruce Willis.
The Incredible Journey.
Haven't seen that.
Yeah, we're talking black and white, where they go inside somebody. They're in his bloodstream and in a spaceship, and they do stuff. And
It sounds familiar. I think that's what inspired a lot of things, like
Yeah.
the episode in the Magic School Bus and the whole living inside of
And
it.
there's an episode of Doctor Who inspired by that.
They're inside a person. Oh, the TARDIS
No.
gets real small.
Inside a Dalek.
Yeah. Tentacles.
We'll get to that in Capaldi's era.
Is Capaldi any good?
Yeah, Capaldi's great.
Okay.
We get to that in Capaldi's era, the 12th Doctor. And
Capaldi's the doctor or the showrunner?
Capaldi's the Doctor. He's also a character he plays a character during the 10th Doctor's tenure. He plays a different character in Torchwood, Children of Earth.
That's a pretty common thing where like sometimes the doctor will have had a minor role in the past.
Only a couple of times.
We always joke about how like Europe only has like a handful of actors, and that's why they keep showing up in this.
Right, but only a couple of times. The Sixth Doctor played a minor character previously, and Capaldi had played two characters in the Doctor Who universe previously.
More common with companions. Stephen? In the Chase?
Stephen the Chase. And
that's more of an old Doctor Who thing.
And once in Torchwood, the protagonist in Torchwood, she plays a character during an episode during Eccleston's run, and it turns out that's her great 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 aunt or something, and so she looks just like her.
And there's the actor that played the Jurassic that also plays the Loch Ness Monster.
It's the model. It's not an actor.
They also did that thing with the dinosaurs. What was that one called? And the dinosaur set looked like one they had used, like a reused Jurassic, almost for like the close-ups.
Some
of
of
the
them,
faraways was a different.
Okay,
What happens
anyway.
in episode 3, Heather?
Episode 3. The Doctor's not dead. He's not crushed. Sarah Jane and the Brigadier eventually catch up with him because they go after them after they figure out
What's the Brigadier?
where the signal's coming from.
first name?
Lethbridge. Wait.
Gordon.
Brigadier Gordon Lethbridge Stewart.
Okay.
No, Gordon Alistair Lethbridge Stewart.
There it is. That was the one I was looking for.
So Alistair's his middle name. Wow. How do I know that? Okay. So anyway, so the Doctor, the Brigadier and Sarah Jane catch up with the Doctor. He's like, cool. He's like, we need to go visit.
We have something
The
to
Duke.
talk about. How did the trivia night go? Did you nail it? Did they ask what the Alistair's middle name was?
They did not ask that. They. Okay. What I consider trivia for Doctor Who is here.
Mm-hmm.
Is here. what they consider your favorite Doctor Who is here.
So they're doing like the comic books and like
no,
production questions.
No.
I hate when
but it was stuff that I mostly easily knew.
What bugs me is when I feel like I know a lot about something, and then they ask these impossible questions about like the production of it. It's like, I don't know how they produced the movie. I know the actual lore. They're like, where was this shot filmed? That's the trivia question. It's like,
well, there were a couple of questions I didn't know. Like, I'm bad with names.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of
we all are.
What was the name of the planet who, in the modern Doctor Who had, their motto was, if you had invaded us, place your name here, you'd be home by now. Tivoli is the answer.
That reminds me of the monument to all the other gods.
Yeah.
They had all their monuments to gods, and then the monument to anyone we forgot.
Yeah. But I nailed it, and we won first.
Nice.
So, I mean...
I knew you would have. Did you get a $5 gift card?
50.
Hey, all right.
$50 gift card.
Visa gift card? Or?
The very first question was, how many, before the TV movie, how many episodes of Doctor Who were there in the original run?
A full season, right?
Well, no, 494, 594, 694.
Huh. That's a lot. That seems like too many. This is the first one? 594?
It's the first run of the show.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is 694.
694.
And I got that by counting backwards from the current count of 865.
It took them that long to make the movie? When did the movie come out?
1996.
I didn't know it was that far ahead.
Okay,
I
so...
thought the movie came out a while.
No. We're not talking the Peter Cushing movies. We're talking the TV movie. So...
We haven't watched those yet, have we?
No.
Oh, okay.
We watched the Peter Cushing movies.
We watched two movies. The
Peter Cushing movies.
The first Dalek and the second Dalek movie.
Yeah, but no. So all this happens, all this stuff. Okay. And then we get to here. And there's the TV movie. Okay? The Doctor Who, the movie. And that is 694 episodes. And you have the movie, which is the first revival. And then you have the current revival, which is about 200 and something episodes in.
Okay. That makes more sense to me now, because I was thinking of the wrong movie.
Not the Peter Cushing movies, the TV movie, the first revival, 1996. But there were questions like that. Most of the questions were fairly easy. There were a few I couldn't remember.
That just seems like math questions.
Well, just that one. Others were like, well, who is this? Which Doctor first premiered the sonic screwdriver?
Baker? Troughton?
The second, Troughton, yeah.
Troughton had the sonic.
Yeah.
It wasn't
first
Sonic then, though.
No, it was. It was a sonic
because
screwdriver.
the war games where he took the screw out of the gun.
Right, but before then it was the Underwater Menace. He premiered it in the Underwater Menace.
Okay.
And they didn't ask what was the name of the serial where the sonic screwdriver was premiered or what episode of that serial was premiered. It was just which Doctor, and that was easy.
Yeah.
And there were other questions like, let's see, which Doctor had the most episodes? Which is obviously Tom Baker, the one we're on right now.
Pertwee, that's the one I'm forgetting about.
Mm-hmm.
Hartnell, Troughton.
Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee, Tom Baker. But most of the questions were fairly easy.
See, if you asked me, I thought it would be Pertwee that was the first to use the sonic screwdriver.
No. Troughton was.
Yeah.
He used it 2 or 3 times, and then it went to Pertwee. But, like, what was the name of the vehicle that premiered in
The Who-mobile?
Invasion of the Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Right, the Who-mobile, exactly. Easy for us, difficult for most people. So, there were a couple of times I needed help from my teammates, but mostly I got it, and it was great.
I miss Bessie.
I do miss Bessie.
Bessie versus Who-mobile, which one do you like more? Which has more personality?
Bessie. Especially when he's got the remote control and the demons, you know?
Or the magnetizer, the shock, and all the Bond. It's a Bond car.
It is a Bond car.
My favorite Bond car gadget, because it's so ridiculous, is when he's driving away in Aston Martin, and they're shooting at him, and he presses a button, and a like a foot wide block of cement comes up to cover the back window to block the bullets. That's the most ridiculous way. It just has a retractable block of cement in the car.
I just gotta screw with the gas mileage, you know?
It's gotta be so heavy.
Okay. So along
just have bulletproof windows.
Yes. A long time ago, I started showing you The Prisoner.
Yeah, we never finished that. We
were like
a
2 episodes in, maybe.
More than 2, I think 3 or 4. Maybe
yeah,
3.
but just it ended.
We're doing that on our movie night.
Oh yeah.
And then we were watching The Good Place. I like that show.
Love The Good Place. Did you ever finish that?
We finished it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
I don't
good.
know if I finished it with you. We did finish the last season though.
Okay, good.
Eventually.
Love The Good Place. I still need to show you The Prisoner.
Yeah, we gotta finish that. So.
Okay.
BC,
But we got stuff on our movie list.
I'll be seeing you.
Okay.
BC. That's from The Prison. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
I made a reference. I remember it.
Episode 3. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Sarah Jane and the Brigadier find the doctor. They head over to, what was it, Fort Gill Castle. They let themselves in, and they're talking to the Duke.
The Duke.
And they're like, well, we think we found the Loch Ness Monster. And the Duke's like, you can't have found it. The Loch Ness Monster doesn't exist. He said, no, we found the Loch Ness Monster.
It's a robot, and they're aliens, and he's like...
Cyborg. Half organic, half robot.
So do you think they found Nessie and then just like machined the Loch Ness Monster into a controllable
remember
piece?
it was something on which they relied on its lactic acid to survive.
I thought that was the spaceship. See, this is where I get confused.
That was the creature.
This is where I get confused because the creature's called the Scaracin and then the spaceship's called the Slavson or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know which one.
No, they had the creature in embryo because they relied on its lactic acid. But apparently either it got too big or they freed it or it got free or whatever. But they still control it.
But then what are
both
they
for
using
the lactic acid and for the destroying of things. But apparently those...
So they brought it with them.
Right, they brought it with them and it was an alien that was a Loch Ness Monster.
Okay. Makes sense.
So anyway, they need to take over the Earth because their home planet's been destroyed.
Solar flares again, right?
Solar something.
That's the explanation for every destroyed planet is there's a solar flare.
But they've invited other Zygons to come to Earth.
It's gonna take them a couple centuries,
to get there.
So that sets up the return of the Zygons, right? We're like,
they come back much earlier than that.
Okay, but that just lets us know that there are others.
Right.
Because their planet exploded. They're like, but there's a what they call it an ark. There's a ship of survivors.
There's a bunch of refugees from other planets. So anyway, we see the Zygons once more in Classic Who, and then we see them a bunch of times in New Who.
I hope they look better. Do they get less ugly?
No.
Because they're hard to look at.
No. They basically look the same.
No.
But it's more CGI and less rubber suits.
Okay.
Anyway.
That's part of what was so gross about it was the rubber suits, and they pulled the top part over. And it was just loose, and it was like flapping flesh because it's like the silicone bodysuit, and it made it look like their belly button was just like vibrating. So I feel like the CGI might be better.
Oh gosh,
it was hard to look at. Dude.
Welcome to the least watched show on the internet. We do this to have fun, not for viewing audiences or anything.
I'm having fun.
Yay! There you go. So anyway, they go to the castle. There's a whole bunch of books on the Loch Ness Monster. There's the Duke, and they leave Sarah Jane to look at the books while the Doctor and the Brigadier head back to the inn.
Stepladder.
Yeah.
She wants to see the archaic books of the monastery recordings.
That was on there. Oh yeah. In the meantime, the Doctor and the Brigadier back to the inn. The innkeeper has been killed.
Mr. Huckle. Because he found...
No, not Huckle.
Angus Ferguson MacDonald.
Yeah, that's the most Scottish name you can think of. Angus Ferguson MacDonald. He's killed, and the...
I have to write all that right here.
The eyes from the 4-point, supposedly 12-point buck have been taken out because those eyes
doesn't even look like
were what spy.
Looks like a fawn.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's dead, killed by the nurse. The Zygons strangled him, and they find him, and they eventually realize that
the eyes are missing.
Well, the eyes are missing, but the eyes were placed by the Duke. So the Duke must be a bad guy.
The Duke was the one that gave them the stuffed head.
Right.
The mounted deer head.
Right. So then they go, oh no, we left Sarah Jane with the Duke. They run back towards the castle.
Yeah, meanwhile, there's this bizarre witch hunt for Sister Lamont. And it leads to this really weird, creepy scene where they're chasing the Zygon. Mm-hmm. And they shoot it and they wound it and it hides in the forest and they're standing guard and they're searching.
There's Sergeant Benton and about 5 other guys.
And then the nurse walks out. Yeah, they made a perimeter. And then this nurse walks out and the one guy didn't know that the Zygons could change appearances. So he's like, oh, it's the nurse. Are you okay? She has a bullet hole in her arm. She's like,
left arm.
It's of no concern. And he's inspecting it, and she has this rock, and she clobbers him.
Right, she hid her right hand behind her back the whole time, and she clobbers him with a rock.
It's just so creepy how you see like this nun walk out of like the misty forest, and right. She's just bleeding. And
very, very much you said a horror movie.
Yeah.
So
these shapeshift, like It.
Yeah.
Or The Thing, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Thing. Not It's the clown one. The Thing is the alien that looks like people. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
Good one. Good movie. What's the main character?
Which one? The It or The Thing?
The Thing and The Thing with the flamethrower and the...
Again, that's played by...
What else is he in?
Escape from New York.
Yeah, that guy.
He's in a bunch of stuff.
He's in so many things.
And he was Disney before that.
Yeah.
He was in a bunch of Disney movies before that.
He plays Will's dad on Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
I think. Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Got old. It's not Jeff Bridges, is it?
I don't think so. Guy. I don't think so.
So bad with names.
Me too.
Moving on.
Okay. Okay, moving on. So anyway,
not Jeff.
Sarah Jane, in the meantime, was in the library of the Duke. She finds a secret passage. She goes into the secret passage. Turns out to be that leads down to the ship of the Zygons. She is messing around down there. Does she get captured?
She finds Harry in the holding
Harry.
cell.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
very skeptical of whether it's Harry
Are
or
you
not.
Harry? And he finally says,
"What are you talking
about, old girl?"
Jeez.
And she's like, "Yep, it's Harry." She lets him out of the holding cell. They make their way back up to the top. They go get the Brigadier and the Doctor.
They run into, as they're coming up, the Brigadier and the Doctor walk into the library. And then they're like, where is she? And her coat was sitting there. And then it opens and then they come out. And then
the Doctor goes in.
The Doctor goes in and screams.
It screams and some Zygons come forward.
We don't know what happened to him.
End of episode 3.
Same scream when he gets electrocuted. Do you think they shocked him? What do they do to him when he goes down the dark hallway?
So, end of episode 3.
There's this one scene I love when she first finds the secret. Sarah Jane Smith first finds the secret passageway. You know the continued trope about the doors and they open, you go in and they close, and you can't get out again. Like since the second episode, the first episode where they're on Skaro and the niece like gets into the Dalek
granddaughter.
Yeah, granddaughter. And then the door opens and it closes behind her. So there's a scene I love where Sarah Jane Smith, it's a motion activated door. She walks up to it and it opens and it closes, opens, and she's making sure it's still open. And then she walks through it and it closes, and she walks back and it opens again.
Yeah.
And finally she's and I love that because like no characters do that. And I'm like, that's what anyone would do if they had experienced what she had experienced.
Right, and I love how they play into the fact she's a reporter and she does reporter stuff. Harry's a doctor, and then he does doctor stuff. And they keep playing to the companion's strength. Sergeant Benton, the Brigadier, they don't do that in the current era.
Well, it makes for really good, strong characters in this
fully fleshed out
season.
Characters. Yeah. They don't do that in the modern era, and I hate that.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Well,
they're less, specializations and more just jack of all trades or general.
Well, no, they're cardboard cutouts. Yeah. But hopefully they'll change that in Series 13. Okay. All right. So episode 4, they take the Doctor. They're like,
they take flight.
We're going to leave. And we're going to take over mankind, and we will start here. So the Brigadier, Sarah Jane, and Harry, and Sergeant Benton run out, and they decide to do depth charges into Loch Ness because they find out that they're at the bottom of Loch Ness, and they do a couple of depth charges. They're pretty nice.
Not stock footage, yeah. Actually, it looked like they filmed it specifically for
Doctor Who, yeah. And they're doing that not because they don't want to hit the spaceship because they want the Doctor to survive. Yeah. But they're trying to bring them out. The spaceship comes out. The spaceship takes off.
That's the end of episode 3. Now we're in 4.
Wait, I thought that happened a little earlier.
When the spaceship is going away and instead of shrinking.
Okay,
because
that's the end of 3. Now we're in 4. Alright, in 4 they go basically to a disused quarry outside of London because everything has to happen in disused quarry.
You have the Scarson traveling 150 miles through its underground rivers.
It's rolling. It's trying to get there. The Doctor's a prisoner, but he's asking some good questions. The Brigadier, the Sergeant Benton, Sergeant Smith, and Harry are all trying to make their way there, and they take off by Land Rovers and are trying to get London because they know that the Zygon, who is in the appearance of the Duke,
Broton,
that particular Duke is on the Scottish Commission for Energy, and he's going to the Commission for Energy, the international conference for it.
So he can suction cup the barnacle, and the Jurassic's going to eat it and cause...
destroy the House of Lords, House of Commons. What they call it? What was the name of this?
No idea.
Something House.
Asleep.
You were asleep. It's something House. I don't know that. What house?
White House.
Like starts with a C or something House, but looks like the House of Commons, House of Lords.
Couse. House that starts with a C. Couse. Chouse.
I understand, but no. Anyway, so the Doctor manages to send out a signal of where he is by connecting a couple of circuits, and he being the conductor, he's kind of fried.
So they pick up an interference, but it also interrupts the Zygons ship.
Right. So they know exactly where he is at that rate. He looks like he's dead, but he's not dead. The Zygons think he's dead, but he's not.
They don't understand. They keep calling him
they assume he's a human. If he's a Time Lord, they don't have experience with that. Even though it kind of indicates he's not human by thinking the technology is crap. So
like, impressive. I've seen better. They're like, better.
Better than this, yeah.
Better than
Like,
this flesh
sure,
wall and
why
meat
even
sticks.
bother, you know? So, anyway,
What is the technology he's seen better?
well, the Time Lord technology, and they're on, what was it called? Were you awake during that?
What is what called?
Their technology.
Oh,
They gave it a
crystalline
name.
something.
Yeah,
Crystalline. Synthetic crystal
No, it's crystalline something. I don't remember what it's called.
synthetic crystal. I don't know.
Anyway, so the doctors are like, yeah, sure, but they think he's dead. He manages to get out. He takes all of the people who were held hostage and made
Takes them out of
duplicates.
their prison.
Takes them out of their alcoves. Gets them out of the ship. He gets not Cable.
Caber, the Duke,
Caber.
Sister Lamont, and
But he gets Caber to break off some things. He's so strong. So the Zygons are looked in the
tears
ship.
off some meat sticks.
Right. Then he says the self-destruct. The self-destruct blows up. The ship blows up. At the same time, Sarah Jane, the Brigadier, and everybody show up. And the doctor and the humans are running out. And they say, get down! They jump down. The ship blows up. Yay. He's like, big enough explosion for you, Brigadier?
It rains bacon and fleshy parts that have been.
No, it doesn't rain that.
Imagine the debris of an organic spaceship. That'd be gross. The debris.
But we've seen
Debris.
organic. Okay, what was the one with Pertwee where they had the organic spaceship?
I don't remember that.
Oh,
It must,
come on, the
I
weird-
don't remember it because it probably wasn't gross.
No, the weird perfect people in the white bodysuits.
That sounds familiar. I don't remember
The
having.
nuclear power plant.
I don't remember having an organic spaceship.
Yeah, they had an organic spaceship. Oh, oh man. The further we get in, the worse this gets because we keep being sidetracked on stuff that's already happened.
I assume they haven't seen it.
Was it the Claws of Axos?
Claws? I don't think so. Maybe. We're the perfect people. People versus paper people.
It has to be the Claws of Axos.
That sounds organic.
Look up your notes. I think that was it.
They're not in this notebook.
Well, which notebook are they in?
The one that I'm digitizing.
It's not here.
It's not here.
I think it was the Claws of Axos. Okay. Anyway. So, the spaceship blows up. All the Zygons are done except for Broton.
Proton.
He is going to try to set, because he's duplicating the Duke who can get into the Energy Council, he's trying to set one of those devices that will lead the Loch Ness Monster to destroy the House of Parliament.
I think it's asleep again.
Yeah, you did fall asleep during episode 4. Anyway, so the Doctor, the Brigadier, Sarah Jane, Sergeant Bent, and everybody else are trying to find him. The Doctor eventually does. The Zygon is particularly strong. But finally, Sarah
They
Jane,
all are, yeah.
Yeah, Sarah Jane goes and gets the Brigadier and Sergeant Benton. They shoot the Zygon dead.
Baker screams a lot.
Well, they scream during that.
He screamed 4 times during this serial.
Yeah, he did.
Once per episode.
Well,
Literally once per episode.
3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times.
Once during the decompression chamber. That's more of a wail.
That's a whale.
Once at the end of 2, he's going into. Oh wait, no. He doesn't do it in episode 2, but in episode 3, when he goes into the dark tunnel, and then when he gets shocked, and then when he gets choked out by Broton. So he's having a rough time of it.
Yeah.
They're really hitting on some nerves. The whale was more of a meditation thing.
Yeah, it was. From a Tibetan monk. So anyway, the Doctor gets a bit choked out by Broton. Then the Brigadier, Sergeant Benton, and them show up. They shoot Broton. They kill him. The Doctor wakes up. He finds
It was all a bad dream.
the sensor in his pocket. He runs away. Harry. Okay, so the Brigadier.
He throws it into the schoolyard. So
No, he throws it in the Thames. All right. The Brigadier and them try to evacuate the building. Mm-hmm. Harry and Sarah Jane Smith try to tend to the guy that got killed.
He's already dead.
We don't know that yet, but
it took like a second. They're like, no helping him.
And the Doctor's running, and he's going to throw the deal into the Thames so that the Loch Ness Monster can destroy it and be done with it, and he's good. The serial ends. The Doctor's in the woods with Sarah Jane Smith, Harry, the Brigadier, and the Duke. And Sarah, he says, well, I'm going to go head to London in the TARDIS. They go to the TARDIS.
He invites everyone in the TARDIS. The Duke thinks about it. We thought he might become a companion.
Yeah, the Duke doesn't really think about it. Brigadier doesn't do it.
He chastises the Brigadier for not doing it.
Well, the Brigadier's already been in the TARDIS during the Three Doctors.
He said, no thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look where that got him.
Harry says, no thank you. I think I'll take the Interbus. Only Sarah Jane Smith joins him on the TARDIS.
Right, so it feels like we're saying goodbye to Harry. Is this the last time we see him?
Mostly yes. Mostly yes.
So he's fallen out of his companion role.
Well, mostly yes.
Okay.
So the Doctor, Sarah Jane Smith, dematerialized.
A planet of evil.
Episode ends. Planet of Evil is the next
Planet
serial.
of evil. 4.5 episodes.
No, 4 episodes.
It's just been so consistent. I feel like I need a little bit of variation in there.
No.
3.9 episodes.
4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 6.
Planet of Evil.
Okay.
3.9 episodes.
What are your questions? Oh my gosh, I need to write down the episodes from the photo. I didn't do this.
So, we have Harry showing up back at Unit HQ, which is where we picked him up as a companion, right? There's this cool moment where he gets back into his medical officer's uniform.
Right towards the end.
He's back in his element, which begs the question, is he in trouble for going AWOL and like just leaving, going on an adventure with the Doctor? And
I doubt it.
Yeah. I guess he was assigned to the Doctor. So
well, I
mean, or is he active military?
He's active military, but Unit is a special division, and Unit gives a lot of leeway to the Doctor because he helps them fix stuff just like this, just like today's. And so I don't think Harry would be in trouble for it because he was with the Doctor doing all that.
When I was gone, did you talk about the decompression chamber
yes.
they got captured in? So the Doctor is hypnotizing Sarah Jane Smith so she doesn't use up as much oxygen and she's not in pain from the decompression or the lack of oxygen. And then he also goes into this meditative trance where he wails and then when Sergeant Benton rescues them and repressurizes the chamber and he wakes the Doctor up, and the Doctor says he learned the trick from a Tibetan monk. Do we think he's talking about Choji or...
we don't know, but I mentioned that fact and that you would ask that, and it could be Sochi or it could be another Tibetan monk.
I forget if Choji was the Time Lord or the other one was the Time Lord.
They were both the Time Lord because they were both the same person.
One was the Time Lord proper, and one was his aspect or avatar.
Correct, but then he became him.
Kampo.
But Kampo became the Time Lord because he was a he was a regeneration. Projection. He was an astral projection that was a regeneration once the other one died.
Okay, so. We've talked about in the past where the Doctor had this friend and he's mentioned the advice that he gave him, his mentor under a tree, this priest. He called him a priest, but this one he's a monk, and then, I don't know. It's a little confusing. because he references him, but not directly and not by name, so we never know if he's talking about him directly or maybe another person. I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. It's fun to speculate, though. That's what I'm assuming. From the Planet of the Spiders. Sergeant Benton's first name is Ben, or John.
John.
Zygons on their way to... We talked about how the refugee ship was invited, but it's a couple centuries out, so it's presenting the fact that these are going to be... The Zygons are going to be showing up again at some point.
Well, they do.
And then, the end of episode 4, the Doctor's boasting that he's going to accurately pilot the TARDIS, time, location, exactly, which I'm skeptical to say.
Well, so was
because
Harry Sullivan, which is why he stayed out.
He's like, and then Sarah Jane Smith said, "You can do that." He's like, "I can be in London 5 minutes ago." She said, "You can do that." So we'll see. I imagine it's not going to go as planned, and that's what's going to lead into our next adventure.
What's the next adventure?
The Planet of Evil, which doesn't. It kind of sounds like we made it to London, but.
All right.
Just kidding.
Here you go. Season 12.
Season 12.
Alright.
Start
vote. And you need to write this down.
This is Pertwee's last season?
No.
This is
Tom Baker's first season.
Tom Baker's first season.
Right. 3, 3, 5, which is 11. And then season 12. Tom Baker's first season.
Mr. Roboto.
Alright. So what do you think is the weakest episode? Or weakest serial?
The Sontaran Experiment was good, but it was short. It was only 2 episodes. The Robot is kind of... Cybermen are great. I really like the arc in space. So it'd be between Robot or the Sontaran Experiment. I feel like is outshined by 2, 4, and 5.
Okay, so I'm good with mixing them both.
Yeah.
Alright.
Did you want to talk about the Robot?
Robot was good.
Because I'm having trouble even
remembering. That's the one where there was the robot. It was kind of a throwback to the last bit of Pertwee. It was good, but I mean, this is a fantastic season. Only 5 serials.
I remember the Robot, and he tries to trip it with a scarf, and it plays dead when he puts his hat over it.
Yeah, and then
that one was fun. That was fun.
It was good, and Sontaran Experiment was good, but these 3 are better.
Okay.
I would ditch Revenge of the Cybermen next.
I like Cybermen. I think that might have been one of the weaker Cybermen stories.
There will be more.
Yeah. So I would agree that one's next. The arc in space was really good. I could see it winning if it wasn't up against the Genesis of the Daleks.
Right. Here's the thing.
Kind of
Here's the thing. This whole thing is moot. Genesis of the Daleks kicks ass.
We're not watching a boxing match.
Right. Arc in space is good.
Burial.
But this is like, this is like Muhammad Ali up against Frazier, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Frazier Crane? I don't think he's much of a boxer.
Different Frazier. Alright, so
we're in agreement.
Genesis Daleks
was awesome and introduced.
It literally is one of the best serials, if not the best serial for the 4th Doctor. Oh man, just so good. Alright.
It explains so much. It's just a deeper look into the whole. I don't even know.
All the Daleks. It's just fantastic. Alright,
also into the nature of the Doctor, because that's his. I feel like his antithesis.
Right.
Would be,
Davros,
it's his Joker to his Batman. Like,
mm-hmm.
There's a lot of recurring villains.
Right. The Master's kind of Moriarty to Sherlock, to the Doctor. But
these are just
Davros is the Joker to the
Yeah.
Doctor's Batman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Okay.
Great episode. Serial.
Phenomenal. Which is why
Say it one more time.
I didn't even... Phenomenal. I didn't think this needed to be done. Phenomenal. Alright. Alright, next week, did you want to do the show or a movie?
Either way. We do have some movies to catch up on.
Like a crap ton, actually.
Double feature.
And in a few weeks, about 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to have our first...
In Vegas.
We're going to have
location.
Our first on-location episode of Drunk Doctor Who, which will be in Las Vegas, Nevada.
It's going to be our episode 80 spectacular. We're celebrating our 100th episond.
Well, 81,
early,
82, 83, whatever, 84, 85.
We're celebrating our 100th episode special early. Around like 85.
But we'll actually be in Las Vegas, Nevada, doing Drunk Doctor Who.
Maybe it falls on like an anniversary.
No, not really.
Not really. It's our 3.5 year anniversary.
Maybe, actually. That might actually be the case, but it'll be...
it's not a special
November.
occasion. It's just going to be a cool episode.
Yeah, we're just going there for other reasons, and we'll be in Las Vegas. So hopefully you watch that one and watch this one and watch all the ones in between.
I want to make a custom intro where it says "In Vegas, Saturday Night Live" kind of intro.
All right, cool. Did you write down Genesis of the Daleks?
Not yet.
All right, write it down.
I need another pen.
Okay, you write down Genesis of the Daleks.
Alrighty. Any other thoughts, Hattie? This was fun.
No, I've got no other thoughts.
No
Do you
other
have any other
thoughts?
questions? We will see the Zygons again and again and again.
Zygons will return.
Mostly in the modern stuff. I think they've got one returning the classic stuff.
Season 12.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus of the Genesis of the Leviticus of the Daleks.
Genesis, Leviticus.
Numbers of the
Oh God, Numbers is so boring.
More boring than Leviticus?
They're both boring. Genesis and Exodus are much better.
Exodus was awesome. I like Genesis too.
Mm-hmm. All right.
They should make a movie about that.
All right. See you next week. Well,
How cool
probably.
would a biblical anime be?
Well, we'll probably see you next week. We may be doing a
movie night. If we are doing movie night, we'll do like Heroes and Villains, maybe. So we might still see you next week.
So you might still see us next week. I think we're still catching up on Heroes and Villains. So yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. What happens when we run out of Heroes and Villains?
Then
Are
we
you gonna
can't do
start
them.
scraping the bottom of the barrel, just like talking about super niche?
No.